Listen, I absolutely love it when I get to visit cities with these so-called negative reputations for which I get to start busting some fucking myths. For some reason, as soon as we start heading west from Toronto, aside from British Columbia, you start hearing negative things about Thunder Bay, Winnipeg, Regina, and most recently, Calgary. Now, I've visited each of those cities and destroyed negative myths along the way. But here we go again. Why would one visit Calgary? It's a conservative city in a conservative province that cares about nothing more than oil and gas. All right, I'll play along. When I went to Calgary, I was told to expect nothing but cowboys and mountains. And what I found was a city that completely blew me away. Sure, you got the Stampede, where for 10 days straight you hear a friendly Yahoo, but did you know it has a deep historic connection with the Indigenous peoples of Treaty 7? Yes, in this episode, we'll dive deeper into all of that. But Calgary is even more than just a Stampede. On a recent boys trip in partnership with Tourism Calgary, we discovered a place where you can savor world-class cuisine from celebrity chefs that go beyond beef. That said, if you're a meat lover, then you should definitely hit up Caesar's Steakhouse for some incredible Alberta beef. We explored the city from the skies of a helicopter, from the ground in a sidecar of a vintage motorcycle, and even stepped into the Rolling Stones mobile studio. Links are in the description. But for a few minutes, forget everything you think you know, and let me show you a city that redefines Western hospitality. Hey, welcome to Highway Highlights, a podcast that tells inspirational stories, uncovers hidden gems, and unlocks a destination's secrets. I'm Christopher Rudder, a road trip, day trip, and all-around travel expert and content creator in the travel and tourism space. In this episode, we'll dive into the Stampede's early beginnings, the unique and important relationship with the Treaty 7 First Nations, and how the Sam Center continues the Stampede's tradition all year round.
Yeah, so Guy Weadick actually was here in 1908. We had a Dominion exhibition hosted in Calgary that year. That was like a federal exhibition that would happen in different cities to help encourage people to really move to that area.
That was Marsha Gordon, collections assistant here at Stampede. She's the one taking care of the artifacts, the collection, and the archives.
So he visited the 1908 exhibition and he just thought all the agricultural history there, the Western history there, he just really wanted to create this event that would happen every single year that was similar, but really with an emphasis on Western history. So Guy Weadick was from northern New York, actually. He's not Canadian, but he did end up moving here. And he actually came here with his wife. So whose name is Flores Ledoux, and they were part of a vaudeville act, actually, at the 1908 Dominion. So in the years leading up to that, he just was like, I want to do this again, but bigger.
And to make it bigger, 4 gentlemen came together to make Weadick's dream a reality. Pat Burns, George Lane, E.A. Cross, and Archie McLean. The Big Four. They were all part of different businesses. One of them was part of a brewery business, but most of them were ranchers. But these were very wealthy men who also really believed in Southern Alberta and Calgary and really saw the potential. They were here when Calgary was still becoming a city, which did not actually happen until 1890. When Weadick came and said, this is a way to not only celebrate our heritage, but also encourage more people to move here and see the potential of this land, they were fully on board with that vision. The Stampede has evolved significantly since 1912, with a few key milestones in its history, such as the 1923 merger with the Calgary Industrial Exhibition.
So obviously the first Stampede was 1912, that was the very first one. And the year after that, due to the war, we actually didn't have a proper Stampede in Calgary until 1919, which is actually called the Victory Stampede. So that was celebrating the end of World War I. And then after that, we had, of course, 1923. And that was when the exhibition and Stampede actually merged. So before that, we would have an exhibition that would happen in usually the summer, and then in the later summer, early fall, that's when the Stampede, more of the rodeo things would happen. 1923 was also the year that chuck wagon racing was introduced to Stampede, which obviously is a big deal now. It's hard to imagine Stampede without the chuck wagon racing. But yeah, that was the first year. They had very different rules then. They, for example, had to light a fire in the back on the stove in the chuck wagons to win the race. And some people actually cheated a bit. It turns out they would put some fuel into the back.
Always a cheater.
Always, yeah. So they scrapped that, and it kind of evolved as the years went on to what it is today. But yeah, that was definitely a major one. We had in 1931, we had one of the Big Four's birthday, Pat Burns. It was his 75th birthday, I believe. That was a huge deal, a huge celebration. They actually made a giant cake that fed like thousands of people in Calgary. As the years went on, in 1939, we actually had the Queen Mother visit, and she visited technically before Stampede, but she visited Elbow River Camp. So she met with a lot of the chiefs of the different Treaty 7, which was a big deal, having the monarchy meet some of these leaders, First Nation leaders.
We'll talk more about this in a minute, but 1977 was the year the Stampede celebrated their Indigenous partners. It was a salute to the First Nations people. For example, they expanded the Elbow River Camp, and they led the parade. They actually had different Blackfoot chiefs leading the parade as the parade marshals that year.
And we also had Prince Charles there as well, just kind of to represent the monarchy. We've had quite a few, I would say, famous people. We had Walt Disney visit in the 50s as well, moving forward. And then we had the 1996, we had actually, I don't know if you've heard of Monica Wilson. She's a very famous barrel racer. She actually advocated for equal pay for men and women in the rodeo. So women actually their prize money was less than the men's. So she actually advocated for it to be the same amount in 1996. She also won the Guy Weadick Award in 96. So the Guy Weadick Award is like a trophy they'll give out to people where that individual just really possessed all the qualities of what a cowboy or cowgirl is supposed to be. Yeah, and then we ended up 2012. That was our 100-year celebration of Stampede. And then we have a lot of anniversaries as well. 1923 was obviously 100 years since the chuck wagons. We had a big exhibit that year. It was really great. And yeah, of course, the only Stampede that did not officially happen or got canceled was 2020, I should say.
I wonder why.
I wonder why, yeah. That was the only time that we've ever canceled the event in our, over 100 years, 113 years. Yeah.
COVID. Since the beginning, the Stampede has had a unique, historically important relationship with the Treaty 7 First Nations. I knew this, but while exploring the SAM Center, I learned that Weadick wanted to include them from the very beginning. During a time of reconciliation with my Indigenous friends and the work that still needs to be done, when I hear little stories like this, it makes me smile.
Our Indigenous partners, they have been a part of Stampede since day one. They have Elbow River Camp is where they set up their teepees, and they actually stay on in their teepees for those 10 days. They also are part of the parade, many activities, cultural events. We have powwows now. But yeah, in 1912, it was technically illegal for First Nations to leave their reservation without permission from the government and to practice their culture, to practice their language. It was essentially cultural genocide. So Guy Weadick, he saw First Nations, and obviously they have been here for thousands of years, and they are a part of this land, a part of the history of this land, and he wanted them to be a part of Stampede. It just would not be authentic or real. It would be more of like a Western fairy tale to not include them, because they are integral, obviously, to this history. So he did technically get special permission from the federal government at that time to allow First Nations to be a part of Stampede. So they were a part of the, I believe 2000s of them were a part of our first parade, and to also set up camp, to wear their regalia, to practice cultural practices, speak their language as well. And that is huge, obviously, to them. And Stampede, because of this, and they have been here every single year, and are equal partners in Stampede. This has allowed them the opportunity, of course, to fight against those laws at the time, and to keep their regalia, to continue their practices as well. So yes, today Elbow River Camp, where it's stationed, has changed over the years. Now it's actually, you can see on the other side of the Elbow River over there. So Elbow River Camp is why it's called that. So the name got changed a few years ago. We have a First Nations princess that is chosen every single year. They are part of this, a part of the parade to this day, and they continue to have their teepee holders and stay on camp, and they sleep there, for the 10 days of Stampede. So
that's awesome. They participate in the relay race.
Yes, relay race.
That's what I learned over there.
Absolutely.
See, I pay attention to what
the relay race
teaching me stuff.
Is my favorite event.
That looks so cool. I saw the little video clip. Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah, so that happens in the evenings after the chuck wagon races, and it's amazing. We have it's officially now going to be competitive, so they can win awards, and we actually have women competing now in demonstrations called Lady Warrior relay racing. Yeah, wow. It's amazing.
That is awesome.
The story of the Stampede and the story of Calgary is a legendary one, full of excitement, emotion, twists, turns, challenges, and celebrations. It's an epic tale that moves you and connects you to this city. And most importantly, it's a story that truly includes you. Here at the SAM Center, guests are immersed and involved in this ongoing narrative. Through interactive exhibits and energizing experiences, the Stampede's history truly comes alive. You're not just a spectator here. You get to help craft the next chapter and become a part of the legend. And when you leave SAM Center, you'll leave as a member of the Stampede family.
Usually when people think Stampede, they really just think of the 10-day. That's even though there are things happening on park all year round, not everyone can come here during that one time of the year in July. So we really wanted to create a space where we can share that history of Stampede, of Southern Alberta, of Calgary, all year round, really. That's accessible to locals, to people who are from far and wide, to come here and learn and really experience the excitement of Stampede, even if it's not technically Stampede. Yeah, so we have, and obviously Stampede history is tied in with Calgary's history, Southern Alberta's history. When Calgary was becoming a city, Stampede was also, it was a big part of us growing up here. So we really just wanted a space that's accessible to the public all year round, where they can enjoy and experience the excitement of Stampede.
Brilliant. Okay, so how does the SAM Center help to tell the ongoing story of the Calgary Stampede and keep its history alive for the new generations?
Yeah. So a big part of what I do is taking care of the artifacts. And one thing with collections is it's usually stored away in, because we were trying to keep them safe. We want to preserve them for as long as we can, but that's not the point of having artifacts. We want to tell these stories. We want to share with people these stories, or else, what is the point? We want to demystify all of collections, archives, and make this a space where everyone else can enjoy this part of their history, or just history they want to be a part of. So we have dozens of artifacts on display. We have a exhibit in RGG, the Ross Glen Gallery, a temporary exhibit we are actually changing out right now. And we just want to tell as many different stories from as many different people, point of view as we can, and keep it fresh and interesting while still having that core story a part of everything here.
What's a lesser known story or artifact at the SAM Center that you find particularly fascinating? Saw a bunch of cool stuff on the wall,
Yeah.
but what stands out to you?
Man, I feel like my interests are a little niche, but I know that me and my coworkers, we have a few favorite artifacts. One of mine, just because it's so random, is actually a sword. It was a sword given to the Stampede president in 1972, and it's made by Wilkinson Swords. So if you've heard of them, they make razors now, but they actually, yeah, but yeah, they used to make swords as well.
Okay.
So it's actually it's engraved with like chuck wagon racing and different rodeo events. It has the crest of Calgary on it. There's Guy Weadick on the hilt. It's just, there's a photo of him like giving it to the president at the time. And yeah, I just find it to be one of those really interesting gifts that Stampede has received from yeah, people outside. We also have a, this is like a smaller kind of story, but it's actually a maraca that was handmade by a little girl in the 1960s for an art contest, because we obviously have the Western art show here. A lot of art contests is a big part of Stampede. And yeah, this little girl in the 60s, she came in third place. She won $1, which I think was like $10 nowadays. Yeah, and it's just incredible. It's a paper mache, it has a face on it, but it's just, I love that we get to keep these like smaller, more niche stories, right? Because everyone, big or small, it's not all the rodeo stars and the presidents and whatever. It's also, you know, a little girl who came in third place. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So how do you see the SAM Center evolving into the future to engage new audiences?
So yeah, we have so many ideas here. At the moment, obviously, you can hear we host a lot of school trips at the moment, but I think we would love to engage more people our age really here in Calgary, local people to come here and enjoy, you know, the rotating pop-up exhibits, the new exhibits, and also for things that are more casual. I would love to see things in the future like trivia, like having walking tours or like things like that, something more casual events here. So people, because I think museums sometimes can be a bit intimidating to people, and we just want to make it it's a welcoming place. You can come here and you can just grab a coffee, you know, back at Maisie, but to have more events, smaller events here to engage, I think, with local audiences, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, definitely some events.
Yeah.
Because when you hear a museum, it's more like a commitment to
Exactly.
something. So if you have musicians performing, then people will come out. And
Live
like,
music,
oh,
yeah.
I didn't know this was here.
In Sensations, we could have movies in there, Western movies. It would be awesome. Yeah, I would love to see us doing stuff like that in the future, and I think there are plans. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out and talking with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And that wraps up another episode of Highway Highlights. In this episode, we've taken a deep dive into the heart of the Calgary Stampede, exploring its incredible origins, its vital connection to First Nations culture, and how the SAM Center keeps its rich history alive and accessible. It's clear that the Stampede is far more than just a rodeo. It's a vibrant expression of Western heritage, a testament to enduring community spirit, and a truly welcoming space that honors diverse traditions.